Cinderella and the Secret of the Three Wishes. The village of Everwood. In the heart of a lush valley lay the village of Everwood, a picturesque hamlet where cobblestone paths meandered past ivy-clad cottages, and the air carried the sweet fragrance of wild roses. The villagers lived simple lives, tending to their gardens and livestock, their days marked by the tolling of the church bell and the laughter of children playing in the square. Among them was Cinderella, a young woman whose name was known to all, though not for the reasons one might expect from old fairy tales. This Cinderella was not a servant bound by a glass slipper's destiny. She was a figure of quiet strength, her golden hair often tied back with a simple ribbon, her hands calloused from work, yet her eyes bright with a kindness that seemed to touch everyone she met. She lived with her stepmother, Lady Evangeline Tremaine, and her two stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella, in a modest house on the village outskirts. Lady Tremaine was a stern woman, her lips perpetually pursed, her demeanor cold as the winter winds that swept through Everwood each year. Anastasia and Drizella, meanwhile, were spoiled and vain, their days spent preening before mirrors or gossiping about the village folk. They treated Cinderella with a mix of scorn and indifference, piling chores upon her while they lounged in the parlor. Yet Cinderella bore their treatment with grace. She found joy in small things, the song of a lark at dawn, the warmth of the sun on her face, the satisfaction of a well-swept hearth. She believed that kindness was a seed that, when planted, might one day bloom, even in the hardest of hearts. The Enchanted Well. One crisp autumn evening, as the sky blazed with the colors of a setting sun, Lady Tremaine sent Cinderella to fetch water from the ancient well at the forest's edge. The well was a relic of forgotten times, its stones moss-covered and worn, its depths shrouded in mystery. Legends spoke of a spirit dwelling within, a guardian of wishes and secrets, but such tales were dismissed as fanciful by most in Everwood. Cinderella, however, had always felt a strange pull toward the well, as if it whispered her name on the breeze. Carrying a wooden bucket, she made her way along the winding path, the forest alive with the rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. When she reached the well, she lowered the bucket into its shadowy depths, the rope creaking softly. As the bucket dipped below the surface, a faint glow flickered across the water. A shimmering light, pale and ethereal, like moonlight trapped in a mirror. Cinderella paused, her breath catching. She leaned closer, peering into the well, and a voice rose from its depths, clear and resonant, like the chime of a silver bell. Cinderella, gentle of spirit and pure of heart, you have been chosen, the voice said. I am the spirit of the well, keeper of ancient magic. I offer you 3 wishes, a gift for your enduring goodness. But beware, every wish carries a price, and that price may twist in ways you cannot foresee. Choose wisely. Cinderella's heart pounded. She had heard tales of wishes, of greedy kings turned to stone, of lovers lost to reckless desires. But she also knew her life was one of quiet struggle. The possibility of change dangled before her like a thread of gold. She clasped her hands, her mind racing, and after a moment's thought, she spoke her first wish. I wish for my stepmother and stepsisters to treat me with kindness and respect, she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her chest. The well flared with light, a warm wind swirling around her, lifting the hem of her patched dress. Your wish is granted, the spirit replied. But know this, kindness imposed is a fragile thing, a shadow of the truth. The price will reveal itself in time. The first wish. Cinderella returned home, the bucket sloshing with water, her steps light with cautious hope. As she crossed the threshold, she was met with a sight she could scarcely believe. Lady Tremaine rose from her chair, a smile softening her usually severe features. "Welcome back, Cinderella," she said, her tone warm. "Let me take that heavy bucket for you." Anastasia and Drizella appeared from the parlor, their usual sneers replaced with eager grins. "We'll help you with the cooking tonight," Anastasia offered. "You shouldn't have to do it all alone," Drizella added. For a moment, Cinderella's heart swelled with joy. She sat at the table as her stepmother poured her a cup of tea, and her stepsisters chattered about the day, including her in their conversation for the first time she could recall. The house, once a place of tension, felt almost like a home. But as the days passed, a shadow crept into Cinderella's happiness. Lady Tremaine's smiles never reached her eyes, her kindness a stiff performance, like an actor reciting lines. Anastasia and Drizella's help was diligent but hollow, their laughter forced, their glances uneasy. Cinderella began to notice how they watched her when they thought she wasn't looking, wary, almost fearful, as if compelled by something beyond their will. The warmth she had longed for was absent. Their actions were a facade, a magic-induced obedience rather than genuine change. One evening, as she scrubbed the hearth alone, her stepsisters having excused themselves with brittle politeness, she realized the truth. Her wish had altered their behavior, but not their hearts. The price was the loss of authenticity, a superficial harmony that left her more isolated than before. She longed for real connection, not this puppet-like charade. The second wish. Troubled, Cinderella returned to the well under the cover of a star-lit night. The forest was silent save for the crunch of leaves beneath her feet. She knelt by the well's edge, the glow reappearing as she called out, "Spirit of the well, I see now that my first wish has brought no true joy. I wish to undo it, to return things as they were." The spirit's voice echoed, calm and measured. "Your request is granted, but undoing a wish counts as your second. The price is this: you will bear the weight of their unkindness once more, and it may feel heavier now that you've tasted its absence." "I understand," Cinderella said, her resolve firm. "I accept the cost." The light pulsed, and a chill wind swept through the trees. When Cinderella returned home, the illusion shattered. Lady Tremaine snapped at her for dawdling, her voice sharp as a whip. Anastasia and Drizella resumed their taunts, mocking her patched dress and tangled hair. The sting of their words cut deeper now, a contrast to the fleeting kindness she had known. Yet beneath the pain, Cinderella felt a strange relief. This, at least, was real, raw and flawed, but honest. She spent that night by the hearth, staring into the flames, her mind turning over the spirit's warning. 2 wishes gone, 1 remaining. She could wish for wealth to escape her stepfamily, or for love to fill the void in her life, but the prices she'd paid so far cautioned her against haste. She wanted something lasting, something that wouldn't crumble under hidden costs. The final wish. The next morning, as dawn painted the sky in soft pinks and golds, Cinderella returned to the well one last time. She stood tall, her decision clear. "Spirit," she said, "for my final wish, I ask for the wisdom to create joy in my own life and in the lives of those around me, without forcing them to be what they are not." The well erupted in a cascade of light, brighter than before, bathing her in its glow. "A noble wish," the spirit declared. "It is granted. The price is this: you must share this wisdom with others, guiding them to their own happiness, even when the path is difficult." In an instant, understanding flooded Cinderella's mind. She saw her life not as a series of burdens, but as a tapestry of moments, some dark, some bright, all woven together by her choices. She understood that joy wasn't a gift to be bestowed by magic, but a flame to be kindled through patience, empathy, and courage. She felt her own strengths, her resilience, her compassion rise within her like a tide. A new beginning. Cinderella returned to Everwood with a quiet determination. She began to approach her stepfamily differently. When Lady Tremaine criticized her, she responded with calm questions, seeking to understand the older woman's bitterness, a widow's grief, a fear of fading relevance. When Anastasia and Drizella mocked her, she offered small acts of kindness, a mended dress, a shared story, planting seeds of connection without expectation. Slowly, cracks appeared in their armor. Lady Tremaine, moved by Cinderella's persistence, began to speak of her past, her voice softening with memory. Anastasia, inspired by Cinderella's quiet confidence, took up sketching, finding pride in her own talents. Drizella, though slower to change, grew less cruel, her barbs dulled by curiosity about this sister she'd never truly known. Word of Cinderella's grace spread through Everwood. Villagers came to her with their troubles, a farmer grieving a lost crop, a mother worried for her wayward son, and she listened, offering insights drawn from her newfound wisdom. She taught them to find strength within themselves, to see hardship as a teacher rather than a curse. The village transformed, its people bound by a growing sense of community. One spring day, as blossoms drifted through the square, Cinderella met a young man named Henry. He sat alone on a bench, his dark hair tousled, his eyes shadowed with sorrow. Drawn to his quiet pain, she approached. "May I join you?" she asked. He nodded, surprised by her gentle tone. They spoke for hours, Henry sharing his tale of a broken engagement, a dream of becoming a carpenter dashed by doubt, and Cinderella recounting her journey with the well. She spoke of resilience, of finding purpose in small steps. Henry listened, his burden lightening with each word. Love and legacy. Their friendship deepened over months, rooted in mutual respect. Henry rebuilt his confidence, crafting furniture that adorned Everwood's homes, while Cinderella's counsel shaped the village's spirit. In time, their bond grew into love, and they married beneath an oak tree, the villagers cheering as petals rained down. Years later, Cinderella stood by the well, now a beacon for those seeking guidance. Children played nearby, their laughter mingling with the wind. The spirit's voice whispered, "You have woven a legacy of joy, Cinderella. The secret was yours to unlock." She smiled, her heart full. The true magic had never been in the wishes, but in the wisdom to live well, to nurture her own light and share it freely. Everwood thrived, a testament to a woman who turned 3 wishes into a lifetime of purpose. Moral of the story: true happiness cannot be conjured by magic or imposed on others. It grows from within, through understanding, effort, and the courage to uplift those around us. The greatest treasure is the wisdom to live authentically and to help others do the same.